So today is May the 13th, 2014. And is there still weird to me saying 2014? I also forget that I'm 22, so that's not that bad.
It's okay. 22 is past 4. You can't count there.
So it's been a little over a month since we last updated, and that's kind of a bad thing because we like to try to stay on top of these things. But it's because this time of year is finals time for most college students, unless you go to Drexel where they do quarters. So this is midterm time. So it's been crazy, and I've been working a lot. This is the busy time of year in the business I work in. There's a lot of weddings. Everyone wants to get married because it's fucking gorgeous outside. But that's beside the point. But here's the upside. We have a lot of shows to talk about. We have a lot of shows, a lot of music things to talk about. So let's get started. So the first show we want to talk about today is April 12th, The Wonder Years. Exactly. So Fitz, since that's your bag of potato chips, I'll let you go ahead on that one. And I'll just sit here and kind of relax.
To be completely honest, it was the greatest show I've ever been to.
Because it's the greatest generation.
It's true. But, the Wonder Years have been my, tied for first/second favorite brand of all time. But this show was amazing. It blew my chem out of the water. The Wonder Years are a Philly band, so it was a hometown show. It was at a relatively small venue and was...
Even though it's the biggest of the small venues.
Yeah, but technically, the Electric Factory is technically a small venue.
Yeah, it only holds 2,000 people, so it's tiny.
But, they were sold past capacity, even though they would not like to admit it, for, fire safety reasons, but it was way past packed in there. The Wonder Years were completely incredible. I broke down and cried during their set because it was just so fucking amazing. There aren't even words to describe how well that they are able to put on a show, especially, playing in front of the people from where they're from. The opening acts, I have to give credit to Modern Baseball, Citizen, Real Friends, and Fireworks.
Yes.
Because they all also put on a great show, got the crowd pumped up, got everybody ready, got everybody excited, had, the energy flowing. And, Modern Baseball, too. They're also from Philadelphia. That's why the Wonder Years picked them up for this tour.
That has to be exciting for them, to be a relatively small-time band from this city to play a venue with 2,000 of your hometown fans. They're not all their fans, but...
they're fans, I'd say at least...
2,000 of hometown pop-punk fans to play in front of.
I'd say at least 1,500 out of the 2,000 people were screaming
exactly
along to every
it was awesome.
Modern Baseball lyric, so...
And honestly, before this, the show was coming up, I had never heard of them. And, they're still out there touring. I don't know exactly who they're touring with. I think Knuckle Puck was on that tour as well. But I know Modern Baseball's on another tour. They're coming back soon. I think they're going to the TLA. I know it's another Ticketmaster venue because I saw it on the screen at the TLA when I was there. But yeah, that's pretty exciting for them.
Yeah, they're finally, they're starting to hit it exactly where they want to.
Yeah.
And it's great.
That's a pretty good baseball reference there, too. Hit it right where you want.
That was completely unintentional, actually.
I'm sure.
But yeah, the Wonder Years, they were amazing. They did something they don't normally do. They played some old songs in their set. They went back to the Upsides. They played Washington Square Park. They played, didn't they play Melrose Diner?
I believe so.
Yeah. They played some stuff from the Upsides. They played a lot from Suburbia. And because it was the Greatest Generation tour, they played a lot of that album.
I'm still upset that we didn't get, My Geraldine Lies Over Delaware. Because I know they hate that album. I know that, they don't take it seriously because a lot of the music is on that album is, ridiculous and goofy, but it's so much fun.
That is true.
Like that one and Let's Mosh Your Size, like I would jam out.
You kind of think that they might do that for a hometown show,
I
but
was
like,
thinking, especially considering the goddamn Delaware River's right there.
yeah, but the way they did everything anyway, like playing the old songs that nobody expected to be on that set list, nobody in the venue thought that they were gonna play Washington Square Park.
I watched the reactions of people around me.
And
cool.
yeah, when that song started, everybody went nuts. It was great.
And speaking of going nuts, I have two memorable moments from that show in particular. And I mean, I have this guy to thank for turning me on to the Wonder Years. But my two memorable moments were, the first one was watching the crowd absolutely explode when it came time to play Came Out Swing.
Yeah.
I
mean, that song has special value to us too, because I mean, we're in South Philly right now, and that song's about, South Philly.
I know how much you get pumped just playing that song. Like we jam out to that at practice all the time.
We scream.
The energy just goes right through the roof.
Yeah.
Like we almost punched a hole in my parents' floor. That wasn't the South Philly basement we were in at that point, but still.
I mean, we were still caked in stale beer and sweat, and we were still fucking coming out swinging. So.
Yeah.
I feel like we had the general gist of the song down because we were still in Philly.
Yeah, I mean we had the important parts.
Yeah, but I mean,
and I live in South Philly for the most part, so.
I mean, the way everybody reacted for that song was insane.
And moment number dos for me was hearing Soupy get so excited when he was talking about playing in front of a sold-out crowd in his hometown. This was the first time they were headlining a venue in Philly, and it sold out months and months and months beforehand. It was incredible. The venue, like we said, the venue was packed. It was insane, and like you could hear his voice cracking because he was just getting so emotional about it. Like for me as a musician and for me as a vocalist, it was really touching to watch him. Like he was just so excited. It was like the little kid inside him just like exploded.
I wouldn't even say excited. It was much past that.
Yeah.
He was
much excited.
He was like so ecstatic. Playing that show for him was the culmination of all the years that he's been in a band, headlining a sold-out show in his hometown.
He even talked about how 15 years ago he was, sitting in the same place we were, sitting down in the Electric Factory, not sitting down, but
standing in the Electric Factory down in the General Admission, watching big name bands play on that small stage in this small environment for everybody,
and it's great.
And I felt like not only the nostalgia that he was throwing at us, but I kind of felt a twinge of the future, hopefully, because that's the point that we eventually hope to be at. That's the point that every musician hopes to be at, playing a sold out show in front of their hometown.
I wouldn't even, I wouldn't even mind just playing, not even sold out, but just playing big shows in front of my hometown and having people that care.
Yeah, but just like seeing someone able to complete their dream and being a part of that dream was amazing.
Yeah.
And the way they closed out the show, their encore was a song called "I Just Want to Sell Out My Funeral,"
which is one of my favorites.
It's my favorite on their newest album. I honestly can't pick a favorite Wonder Years song overall, but it's my favorite on their newest album, The Greatest Generation. And during their encore, I broke down and cried. It was so beautiful. He had so much emotion in his voice. The whole band was playing with every single ounce of their hearts. It was the greatest rendition of any song that I've ever heard at the greatest show that I've personally ever been to. And it was, as a musician, as a fan of music, as a human being,
anything with a goddamn pulse.
Yeah, it was one of the most amazing things I could ever experience in my life.
And then to cap off the excitement for this guy.
Yeah, not even to mention that after the show, we ended up standing outside for about an hour and a half, between an hour and a half, just, hanging out outside the venue, waiting, hoping that, the band would come out. And Matt came out and, talked to some people and stuff. And then Dan, or Soupy, if you know him as that instead of Dan.
I can't.
Dan Soupy Campbell, the lead singer, came out, and he didn't have time to stop and take pictures with everybody that was waiting because, he was finally home, and he was looking to get a good night's rest in a real bed back at, where he lived, back at his house. So he didn't have time to stop and take pictures because it was late at that point. But
it was like 1:30 in the morning.
He said hi to everybody. He talked to people. He signed a whole bunch of autographs. He was just he was such a nice person too.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, people meet their idols and they turn out to not be that great. But he was more than anyone could have ever expected.
He's a really down-to-earth guy.
Yeah, he knows exactly where he's from. He hasn't forgotten a single bit of how he's grown up, and
that's important, man. That's local love. That's very important.
He's so great. The whole band, really, because they're all from Lansdale and South Philly. They grew up in the area. They have a bunch of songs talking about how they're from here.
I mean, Christ, their song "Elegy for Baby Blue" is about Mifflin Street, and that's literally like right there.
20 steps that way.
Not even. Yeah. It's like, it's pretty cool to think about that.
Yeah, like, every place that they reference in a song, you can go there within 10 minutes of being anywhere in Philadelphia.
Yeah, by far. I mean, I've walked to Melrose Diner. I haven't gone to Melrose Diner, but I've walked in that general direction in 20 minutes.
Melrose Diner, Washington Square Park, Mifflin Street,
a general South Philly basement.
Yeah, a South Philly basement.
I've been in quite a few of those.
Like everywhere they mention about where they're from, they're sincere about it, and sometimes
you have to be pretty damn sincere to sing about this city.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not it's not the prettiest story. It's not great.
Like that line says, man.
From their album Suburbia, not the most recent, the one right before that, there's a song called Hoodie Weather, and he has a line where he's just like, as fucked as this place got, it made me me. And it really says a lot about the whole band, because they all feel that way. Like, sure, Philly sucks at some points. It's completely terrible sometimes, but it's still where they grew up. It's what made them who they are. And I actually asked him about that when we met him after the show. He said that's his favorite line that he's ever written. And, being someone from the city, being a fan of the band, it's awesome to hear that, they haven't forgotten a single bit of anything about where they're from. Mm-hmm. It's who they are. They're never going to give that up.
Give you up.
I was hoping to avoid that.
Actually. I know. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help myself. You know how many times I've been rickrolled in my life?
Not as many as me.
They did it to us at prom. That may have been my fault, but
you were the DJ, weren't you?
Nah, I DJ'd the softball. I almost stepped to that. But yeah, so that's that. Are you satisfied with your description of the Wonder Years show?
I'll never be done talking about that show. As long as my life goes on, I'll never be done talking about that show. For brevity, I'll end it now.
Nice word. I like that one.
Vocabulary.
Yeah. So, if you guys really want it, we can just, shoot an hour of Fitz talking about that and post it somewhere else.
Watch me cry as I reminisce.
So, that's that. And, we didn't get many camera photos of that show because we were kind of
too busy being lost in the moment.
Between being lost in the moment and being lost in the crowd. We were pretty drowned in the crowd. It was intense. That crowd was intense. But if you go on our Instagram, which is the same as our Twitter handle, it's @WizWhipMusicBlog. You can find some of the photos I did get to take. They're as decent as iPhone photos can really get. But that was that. was a good show, and we'll move on from there.
Good doesn't even begin to describe it.
Moving on from there, we will move forward to 12 days later, which was April the 24th, which is when Blessthefall came through. Blessthefall was on the Hollow Bodies tour, which is their newest album. That's excuse me. That was the name of their most recent album, which they were touring in support of, which I talked about in the last vlog update, whatever. I talked about it then. You're smoking. Very funny.
Yes. Yes, I am. I just noticed that, actually. I don't know why I'm doing that.
So I talked about how that's a great album. I played a little clip from it in the video.
Oh, we didn't play any music in our last video.
Oh, we didn't. That's right, because I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah. We'll play some in this. You'll get a chance to hear it.
Yeah, I mean,
you won't miss out.
I mean, you can go listen to it. You know, I'm sure there are hundreds of thousands of videos that people put up on YouTube of all the songs. But you know, my favorite on that album is "You Wear a Crown, But You're No King." It's a great song. Apparently, Bo wrote it about his dad, and it's a pretty deep song.
The title sounds like a Game of Thrones reference.
Kind of.
I recently got into that show. Complete discourse here, but at one point in the show, there were, I think, 5 different people declaring themselves king of the 7 kingdoms of Westeros, which is the land where they all live.
Okay.
So, I don't know, to me, the title of that song kind of sounds like a reference to that. It might not be, might be. You know, he could have thrown that in, about that deep song, about his dad.
Yeah, I have no idea really, but the song itself is great. I mean, there are a lot of lines where it's just like you can hear it's just like, God damn. He says some things that's just like, damn.
That's how I feel when I listen to Wonder Years.
Yeah. But so the Hollow Bodies tour was here, and there were I believe there were 3 opening acts. Yeah, because it was
Silverstein.
It was Silverstein and Secrets, and there was another band that I'm not entirely sure of their name, but I will get back to you on that. Silverstein, by the way, shout out. Silverstein follows us on Twitter, so those guys are great. They followed us actually because I was live tweeting during the show. I think I tweeted about the show on the blog Twitter, and I was tweeting my Twitter with, you know, blowing that thing up. So that was a wonderful show. Let's start with Secrets, because I feel terrible. I can't remember the first band's name, but I think Fitz is trying to take care of that for me.
Yeah, I'm looking up now, actually.
So I'll start with Secrets.
The Amity Affliction.
Amity Affliction, that's it, the Amity Affliction. They weren't first. Was that the only one you found?
Silverstein, the Amity Affliction, and Secrets.
So Secrets must have been okay. Anyway, I'll start with Secrets. I'm not too big a fan of the Amity Affliction. I wasn't really into them. They put on a good set, but you know, my attention was more towards you know, Secrets and Silverstein and Blessthefall, and I was busy trying to get things going for the blog and everything, so I wasn't fully, you know, there. But I'll start with Secrets. This is my second time seeing Secrets. This is my first time seeing them without Xander. So it was an interesting change, but at the same time, it was still a great show. These guys are awesome. When you first see them, you don't really think that they're going to be what they are, and then, you know, they turn out to be this great band. And I remember the first time I saw them was on this World is Ours tour with Escape to Fate and Attack and Mest and all those other things. But yeah, they were pretty impressive. And then we move on to Silverstein. Silverstein's great. They're a band they're from Canada. They've been around since 2000. You know, they're holding it down for quite a while now. 14 years is a hell of a long time to be in the music industry.
Longer than I can.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, not as good thing though. But, you know, I mean, bands come and go as they will. But the Silverstein was great. Didn't really know what to expect. I'd never seen them, never heard them. I mean, I'd heard of them, but I've never actually heard their music. And they put on a great show. They're their lead singer got really, just like Soupy did kind of, he got really emotional and like talked about how much it meant to him that, you know, there were so many people coming out to see this show, and like there were so many people there who knew their lyrics and who knew them and were screaming for them, and it was awesome to watch. And he got really happy and like really, you know, it was a really heartfelt thing. And then moving on from there, we have Blessthefall. So Blessthefall, you know, that's the reason, you know, the whole tour happened, really. Let me start by saying that Bo Boken is straight edge, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Not a damn thing. We're super straight edge, so there's not a damn thing wrong with that. I mean, we may drink, we may smoke. We don't, you know, advise that anybody does these things because they're not really that good for your health. But these things happen. But Bo Boken, he doesn't drink, doesn't do any of that, and like it says in his Twitter bio, he'll still party harder than you. He's a ball of energy. Like he's just like shoots across the stage. He's like a lightning bolt. It's crazy.
He's like a human form of cocaine.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Just straight up energy, that guy.
Yeah. So he puts on a fantastic show. I mean, the whole band puts on a fantastic show, but Bo in particular, the way he fronts the band, he's the definition of a modern frontman. I mean, Freddie Mercury is the definition of a frontman, period. But like, yeah, Bo Boken is one of the best when it comes to, you know, the modern day and age. On top of that, you know, his kid Rocket, she's fucking adorable. She's the cutest little thing. But yeah, you know, musicians, man, they name their kids some weird stuff.
Yeah, Bandit Lee Way, Gerard Way's daughter, Cherry and Lily, Frank Iero's daughters, twins.
Yeah.
And his son also. Not sure what his name is.
I mean, famous people in general. I mean, Gwyneth Paltrow has Apple.
Yeah. Michael Jackson has Blanket.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Craig Matt was going to name his son Jack because he loves Jack Daniels. But he named him Cage. Cage is a strange one, but that's been his nickname for a long time. Like, that was his Twitter handle and shit. So, I mean, it's not a normal name, but there's a reason he did it. Ronnie Rackey's daughter's name is Willow, which, you know, that's not really a strange name, but it's not
as
not a
normal
normal
name. Yeah, it's not exactly
she's fucking
normal
she's
by
gorgeous,
definition.
that little baby. They all have really cute kids too, man.
Yeah, pretty people end up having pretty kids.
It's like, you know,
I'm never gonna have a pretty kid.
Let's see, who else? Who has some funny kid names?
I mean, your name's kind of funny.
Yeah, my name's funny, but that.
So I guess that makes your parents famous musicians, right?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, my Uncle John is, you know, relatively locally famous in Florida. That's about it. It's funny because my Uncle John has the same name as the guy who wrote the music for Star Wars and 7 million other things, John Williams.
Yeah.
Except
your uncle's a great guy too. I remember I met him when he was playing that show at the Henry James Saloon down at Roxborough.
Mm-hmm.
We went to see him play there.
Yeah, he was back again. You missed it.
Well, you didn't tell me about it.
I think I tried to or something. You were busy. But yeah, but see, the time we saw him was cooler because he used the loop pedal, the drum on the guitar, and everything. He didn't do that this time.
He's a cool guy. He knows what he's doing music wise.
He moved away from his family, moved down to Florida, left you know, everything he knew to move down to Florida because he knew he had a chance. The type of, I mean, he plays all acoustic music and stuff, but that was, you know, that's where he needed to be, and he up and did it.
All my friends are in bar bands.
We can't even be a bar band.
I don't know how it happens, but I hope they pay the rent.
You know. on that, like, you know, on that note of that show.
Uncle John?
Musicians and their strange baby names too. We'll do that next. So yeah, before we run out of time, because I think we're gonna cut this one into 2 segments. Because Fitz talked for quite a long time about the Wonder Years, and there's nothing wrong with that. That means he paid a lot of good attention.
Bless my heart.
So, the Hollow Bodies tour was great. It was a great show. The Amity Affliction. First of all, like the thing I do remember about them is their intensity was fucking crazy. they were through the roof. But yeah, that was a great show.
The roof is on
And
fire.
you know, Blessthefall did all the essentials. They played their song 2.0, which is just like that's a pure hype up song. It's like a minute and a half long, and it gets everybody going. They played some quintessential jams of theirs, like what's left of me, and that all those songs were fun. I almost blew out my voice.
What's left of you?
Well, what's left of me is yours to keep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I get Ryne's soul.
So that show was good. That was one of my favorite shows that I've been to in recent times, just because of the energy in the crowd. But I think on that note, we are going to cut, and we're going to take a few minutes of a break. I think we need to pee. We've been sitting here for a little while, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes. So we'll see you later.